new week. Hello and thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of Journalist Hangouts. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Nigeria-Ghana trade words over alleged ill treatment of Nigerian traders in Ghana. Nigeria records lowest COVID-19 cases in 4 months as Lagos plans reopening of schools in September. Inspector General of Police warns politicians, party supporters against violence ahead of Ondo Governorship elections. Says they are already arming talks. And later on the show, Supreme Court upholds the election of Governor Yahaya Bello as the Governor of Kogi State. Dismisses PDP appeal. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Olayinka Oyebile. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. International diplomacy thrives on the concept of reciprocity. After mounting outcry over ill treatment of Nigerian traders in Ghana, the government has intervened. The federal government says it will no longer tolerate incessant harassment of Nigerians in the West African country. According to the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, more than 1 million Ghanaians are residents in Nigeria and they are not subjected to such treatment. You know, this subject has been brewing for some weeks now, and I saw a video particularly worrisome. This Nigerian, and from his accent, you will know that maybe he's from our brothers in the southeast, yes. And it showed all the record of payment for everything he has paid that is up to date, that we should check it, he displayed it. And in spite of that, they came to lock his store and they're telling him to provide $1 million. Where will an average trader on the street get $1 million?
I think that Ghana, the truth is Ghana is trying to make its local content policies a lot stronger, which will naturally protect people with small businesses from their own country against foreigners. It may seem odd to us, but many countries of the world do it. If you are only supposed to, as a foreigner, you are only supposed to get involved in businesses that Nigerians cannot do. You know, that's the face of the economy or sphere of the economy that we can't readily do. For example, everyone can own a small shop where you can sell things. So you are a foreigner, the local content law can bar you from getting involved in such businesses. You know, in our country, foreigners come here and deal decisively with local people. Yeah. So we've seen foreigners push out people from fishing business in our country. Yes. So Ghana also said that, because I read the response of the Minister of Information of Ghana. Ghana also claimed that we have also come up with an executive order barring foreigners from getting some categories of employment in our country. So what is happening between Nigeria and Ghana, I believe that we have to, both countries must come together and try to redefine their bilateral relations, because what's happening between both countries appear to mean like a tit-for-tat kind of relationship, because that minister was referring to the closure of the border.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that we close our border
borders on this
yes, August 2019,
yes,
and that businesses suffered, manufacturing companies suffered. A lot of these drugs synthesized with herbs, this drink that people consume that will make them stronger. I know that some of like them local aphrodisiac synthesized with herbs. They are coming from Ghana and they are hits in our country.
That's a major...
Yes, they are hits with our young people. You know, our men, they like women a lot. They are hits with us. Now, the closure of the border affected those people because we are the ones with the market. As I always say, what is the population of Ghana?
Factory will close down effectively.
A lot of them, this is where they are pushing a lot of those products in this direction. So they are saying that when we partially close the same border,
since 2019,
that
August,
it affected companies. So I'm looking at what is happening like a way of punishing us for the actions that we took. Because I read what Alhaji Lai Mohammed said. This thing has been brewing for some time, and it looks really provocative that Ghana is taking us on in this manner. Just the same way South Africa humiliated our people the other day. And here is Ghana, not far away from us, although we don't share common borders, but they are not far away.
At all.
You know, you can go to Ghana by road. So they are now doing their own to us.
45 minutes.
And the man is saying, no, this is why this is happening. Our people, a lot of our people are involved in crime, that they had to deport about 700 of them. Our people, even for those of them who are in business, some of them provided fake documents. He's just trying to explain away what has happened. But when he mentioned the issue of the closure of the border and the fact that
that's a big deal.
Yes, that look, and remember even the Ghanaian president complained at that time.
Yes.
Because there's no way to affect our neighbors. So is this punishment for that border that we closed, that the pie pressure on our president and the president refused to budge? Is this the punishment for it? I still think that both countries must find a way to come together. We've been neighbors and good neighbors for so long that we shouldn't have a total breakdown in our relationship.
It's a major Anglophone part of West Africa.
We are surrounded by...
And when you get to Ghana, you feel so comfortable because Nigerians...
our closest neighbors are
Francophone countries.
Yes, and are closest to us.
We can't just afford to severe tax, but
Niger shares border with 6 Nigerian states. And it's French that they speak, Niger Republic. 6 Nigerian states. From Jigawa right up to Borno State.
Olayinka, what can we do to make sure that we continue the cordial relationship with Ghana?
You know, Nigeria and Ghana are like Siamese twins. Whatever happened in Nigeria, either first in Ghana, will happen in Nigeria. Or whatever happened first in Nigeria, will happen in Ghana. Both in terms of military rule and civil rule. So there is a way that the two countries have to come together. The two countries are the biggest partners in West Africa. And there is that need to understand each other. But I want to let us understand one important factor. You know that by the time the Ghanaian minister reacted, he mentioned some things. He mentioned that those who are being troubled were criminals. He even said 700 criminals and all that were the ones that were being disturbed, and so on and so forth. But what I think Nigeria should do, Nigeria needs to study itself and allow what is necessary to be done. Because we allow it in Nigeria does not mean other countries will allow it. Look at it. In Nigeria, for instance, you have Chinese people who are baking bread. What is the expertise that the Chinese man will bring to bread baking that they are doing that business in Nigeria? So Ghana will not allow a Nigerian to come to Ghana to be a spare part seller or be selling recharge card and all that. So those are the kind of things that Nigeria needs to work on. And our relationship with Ghana, we need to define it very clearly. As Babajide has said, in fact, after reading the Ghanaian minister's statement, by the time it got to the real issue that is the contention, which was the closure of the border, that exactly is what he wanted to say. All other excuses are just being said just to lay the basis. What is paining them is the issue of the closure of border. And the president has explained, the Minister of Interior, the CG of Custom, all of them have explained. Maybe what needs to be done is to sit down once again and be able to resolve this. And I also think our brothers and sisters who go there, they have to study the law and abide by their rules.
Okay,
If they say that this...
picking it from where Yinka just left it now, and I've been to most West African countries, and I discovered that, okay, you go to a place like Dakar in Senegal, you go to a place like Bamako in Mali, you go to a place like Yaoundé in Cameroon, and those countries, you discover that our brothers from the southeast are the one dominating, let's say, the spare part market that they are speaking about. Yes. If you go to Cameroon, the whole of Yaoundé. Electronics, spare part markets.
Even in South Africa, electronics,
computers, yes. If you go to Bamako in Mali, they are the ones that will come to Nigeria, they'll bring this part, they're the biggest seller of it. Yeah. So if you are saying that we should review, these are things they've done over time.
No, the truth is, for the good of our people, we just have to have a better relationship between both countries.
Jide, let me quickly pick this call. Somebody is calling us from Ghana. Taiwo calling us from Ghana. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. I'm so happy that you are discussing the issue about Ghana traders.
Where are you calling from? Accra.
And what Mr. Babajide said, he has some points, that we must not rely on the reply of the Minister of Information of Ghana, Mr. Kojon Kuma, or what he said. He will surely defend their country. But what Nigerians are facing in this country is not is a terrible situation. Yeah. You can get the first information from Senator Muslim Obanikoro, the former High Commissioner to Ghana. You cannot tell us that the traders, Nigerian traders, should pay $1 million. That's the only thing they are capitalizing on. Every Nigerian trader there, they've taken all their necessary documents, they've paid their resident permits, and telling them to pay $1 million. Where are they going to get it? How many Ghanaians have that money? The only problem with Ghanaian traders is that they cannot be competitive with Nigerian traders. Ghana traders want to buy products for 100 naira and want to sell it for 200 naira. Nigerian trader wants to buy product for 100 naira and he wants to sell it for 130 naira to gain 30%. So Ghana traders want to get 100% profits. And this is the strategy of business. So you cannot tell us that we should be selling the way you want to sell. So that is the reason why they are saying Nigerians should not be involved in retail. They should be doing wholesale. And when most Nigerians came to this country about 10, 12 years, 14, 15 years ago, most Nigerians are not interested in retail. They prefer wholesale trading. When they bring their products to Ghana, I'm part of the victim. We supply to them, to Ghanaian traders, and for them to return it. They will take the market, they will sell it, they will be using your money to do another market.
Thank you, Taiwo. Thank you, Taiwo. Thank you. Wish you the best of luck in Ghana.
No.
And
the point I was trying to make is, look, for the good of both countries, the citizens of both countries, it is important that we find a meeting point. It is our people who suffer. It is our people who are doing business. It's not practicable. People say, oh, make your country attractive, make your economy strong, so that people... It's not, no matter what it is, people will leave their country to go and pursue their lives elsewhere.
Go to China, go to Japan, they are there.
Best countries of the world, people still go out.
Yes.
Even those Scandinavian countries, Norway and the rest of them, that are rated among the best places to live in, people still go to other places to do business. Many Americans have learned how to speak Chinese, and they are in China, you know, making ends meet there. The Americans who are in the UAE have chosen to leave home. So what I'm saying is, that argument that, oh, make your country better, that people will not feel any need to leave, it is not a valid argument. What we need to do is let both countries find a meeting point. Let them come together. Let them resolve the differences for the sake of the citizens, the ordinary citizens. Because the people in government won't necessarily lose anything from this. but the ordinary citizens who are in those countries, who
So
are in
many
Ghana,
Nigerians in Accra.
and a lot of Ghanaians too here.
Yeah.
Even their footballers are here. From way back, their footballers have always come to Nigeria to ply their trade. You know,
The likes of Edward
some of them
Dancer,
even played for our national team. You know, some of them played for our national team. So we must not, any situation that will hurt free trade between both countries, we must do our best to work against it. So let the two countries find a way, find a meeting point, so that these people don't suffer. All of these excuses that the Ghanaian minister gave is just as a way of giving the dog a bad name to hang it, saying they're involved in tax evasion and all of these things. Why didn't this happen before? I've spoken about the former president of Ghana praising IGI for coming to their country, and they were so successful. Within a short time, they asked for a fresh license to start another insurance company. That's to tell you how effective Nigerians are. They go, they are very good, you know, at succeeding in business, and they go to another man's country. They do very well. So I want our country and Ghana to find a way to resolve this in the interest of our people who are there.
Now, call it approaching victory or false hope. The cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria has witnessed steady decline in recent days. According to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, the country recorded 138 cases on Sunday, with a total number of infections standing at 52,865. Meanwhile, schools are set to reopen fully in Nigeria's commercial hub, Lagos, in September. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu announced that institutions of higher learning will reopen on the 14th of September, while it will be the turn of primary and secondary schools on the 21st of September. But he warned that this is not an invitation to carelessness or nonchalance. Yinka, this is a very good development. Well, let's first of all check what we turned out yesterday. 138 cases on Sunday. That means somehow we are bringing down the curve.
Curve, yeah.
So what do you make of this? For a long time, we've not recorded this low, 138 cases.
Yeah, it is not yet Uhuru, but I think it's a very good development. What we need to do as a country is the need to increase the testing centers, the need to have more people to be aware of the fact that the worst is not over. We should not make the mistake and think that, oh, the worst is over and that things have returned to normal. This last weekend, I was out of Lagos. I went to Oyo State. And the feeling I was getting from there is that people think it is only in Lagos and Kano and Plateau now that are the epicenters. They think that Oyo State and the other states have come over it. But the truth is we need to help ourselves. I love the way things have been going. There's hardly any public building you go to now that you don't see
sanitizer,
the sanitizer and also the water banner that no mask, no entry and all that. That's very good. Even small children, you see that people are wearing masks for them. This is good. And all we need to do now is when the schools resume, principals, headmasters, and teachers must make sure that, especially at the secondary and primary school level, that they enforce that law. They are very, they've seen each other for a very long time, maybe almost 6 months. They have not seen, especially those of them who are not living nearby or near each other. So there is that tendency to lose their guard. There must be a very proper policing of these children to make sure that things they are there. And for those who will be in the hostels, I want to know, or we need to educate ourselves. How do we manage it? We know how hostels are. Let us be frank. How hostels are, both in the secondary school and in the higher institution. A room of 4 people in the higher institution will accommodate about 16. So how do we make sure that all these are dealt with, and that we know the worst is not over?
The worst, you can say, is not over. Yeah. And when you want to look at Lagos State taking this bold step, we can't keep these schools closed in perpetuity. That means
that's the point that Oyo has been making, and Oyo took that step before everybody.
We have to open our secondary schools, we have to open our primary schools. Our children will need to go back to school. Now, how do we now manage it from this phase? It's a very critical phase.
It is, but the truth is, this disease has come to stay. You can see what's happening in India. In 24 hours, they recorded 78,513 cases. It's a world record.
78,000?
Yes, 78,000 in one day. You know, so, but they are proceeding with the easing of the lockdown. Hotels are being opened along with other steps that are being taken to continue the relaxation of the restrictions. So we just have to take responsibility for our actions as individuals. Government has done its best. This is a disease or ailment that will live with us. It can't disappear. Trump's statement that it will just vanish has been shown to be a lie. It's not going anywhere. So, but how we protect ourselves determines whether we become his victim. Already in South Africa, 14,000 people have died. And they've recorded about 626,000 cases. So when we look at our own case, although the testing capacity is a problem here,
big one.
They have the capacity of almost 200,000 over there, you know. So I think our figures are dependent on the level of testing. Yes. And I want to see a situation maybe for the future whereby the NDDC will have power over the states, because states are doing what they like. Some are deceiving themselves that it does not exist, and some are even under-reporting cases. So, but if the law permits the NCDC to own the entire process, then states will no longer be able to do what they are doing. But they are doing that, you and I know, because the burden is on the states to take care of anybody that is deemed COVID-19 positive. So that's why this is happening. So I want us to continue to manage the disease the way we are managing it, and we discuss what Sanwo-Olu said is possible, that within this September the secondary schools would open, later on maybe primary schools. He has not given a definitive statement. He wants to see what happens when the tertiary institutions open first, and then they will decide. Then they will decide whether they can immediately allow the secondary schools to follow suit, and then later on primary schools. These are vulnerable classes of Nigerians. So the government has to be responsible, ensure that all those steps are meant to protect our people, protect those children, are in place before we allow them to.
If we don't step up our testing capacity, if we still don't have enough capacity to test, we won't know the impacts of the resumption. Let's say churches are now in full gear. if university joins and primary, secondary school, if we are testing on a daily basis, we could have gotten, you know, the impact maybe positive.
Yes,
or
the way it's
negative.
happening in South Africa,
Yes.
the way it's happening in India, they are easing up, and at the same time they are
Locking down
testing.
Okay.
They are easing up and testing, improving their capacity for testing. So that's why it's yielding these high figures. There is no way you ease up, and then more people won't be infected. But the way our own epidemiology situation is not what you can put so much accent upon, because the testing is not where it ought to be. So what we have here in Nigeria may not actually reflect the true state of things. So let's not put too much.
And before we leave this, we would like to congratulate Professor Abayomi.
Yeah, he's back. He's back on his feet.
A short time, and
we are happy to have him, a world-class medical person. Sometimes I ask myself, how did Lagos manage to even convince him to come and do this work? Because in the real sense, we can't pay his wages. But when people decide to serve their countries, to serve their people, this is what you get. And he has done an excellent job. I'm so proud of him. He said he did not, that he keeps wondering why it took so long for him to get infected. Yes, because you are the one, you are leading the battle. You know, you and the governor, you are leading the battle. So somehow, at some point, if commissioners in the administration had been infected, you know, including our brother, the Commissioner for Information, was infected at some point, and your friend, the CPS. So how come the person who is in front of the battle is just now being infected? So it's
in a very short time. It got to
7 days. Just 7 days.
7 days.
So they are experts at handling this thing in Lagos, and so many people have recovered in Lagos. So
congratulations,
it's good news.
Professor Akin Abayomi. That's a big news. Well, still to come. Inspector General of Police warns politicians, party supporters against violence ahead of Ondo Governorship elections. Says they are already arming talks. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this breather. All right. Thank you for joining us again. This is Journalist Hangouts. We're reaching you live through television, TVC News here in Lagos, Nigeria. The negative rhetorics ahead of the governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states is worrisome. Even the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, is worried after a review of the Election Security Threat Assessment Report submitted by the commissioners of police from both states. The IGP warned politicians and their supporters against violence. He said most politicians had already arming talks to undermine the electoral process in September and October. When I hear this now, I'm no longer, it's not news to me. I know when we go for election coverage, I know what we see, what we witness, what we experience. I attend the so-called last stakeholders meeting. At any point in time, maybe if the election is on Saturday, there will be a stakeholders meeting that involves INEC and Inspector General of Police and the INEC chairman and all the candidates. They come together, allegation, counter-allegations, everything, this thing. And the police will end up assuring us that, oh, we have 30,000 men. Helicopters, to the senatorial districts. We are going to be joined by our brother and the other security agencies and everything. And if you keep counting, you just discover that
Marine Police.
They'll tell you that dogs, they have everything. But election day, you still see people running with ballot papers.
Ballot rigging.
You see people. All sorts of violence, and the police, the security people at the polling unit will just look the other way. I can name states.
Cast your mind back to what happened in Kogi, the meeting that the IG had. Right there in the presence of the IG.
Yes.
Thugs were unleashed.
Yes.
And
in that same hall.
Where the IG
was seated.
Now,
they were shooting.
They were forced to release tear gas. So our IG too sniffed some measure of tear gas that day.
Natasha
Meanwhile,
Akpoti was trying to make her entrance into the venue. They did not allow her.
in the presence of the IG.
Yes.
Normally, if the IG was even within the perimeter of that venue,
Nobody should have the capacity
to do that kind of thing. But we are here. We're in our country. Certain things happen that you just ask yourself that what's going on? How could this happen? And until we make up our minds that we want to punish people who see impunity as the new normal in our country, we will not go far. We want politicians to behave themselves. But politicians already see election as a life and death affair. So how do they behave themselves? They think that is the only way they can win. And a lot of them win elections even when they are not popular. Which means that the mandate, they do not derive that mandate from the ordinary man on the street, from the people. You know? So they can't say we the people. No, you are not part of the people. You are not even part of the people. You are doing things that you believe you can do and get away with it. And it's beginning to happen now. We are receiving reports of violence in Edo State already, in Esako, different places.
From politicians.
And the election is still a long time from now. We had cases of violence. We had begun to record cases of violence in Edo State, even months to the election. That's the level of intolerance that we are seeing.
Nobody's
and
talking about projects.
When it gets to election day, if these people can be this bad, if these people can embrace violence up to this level, what will happen on election day? That is the fear. And there's something that the IG's that statement by our friend Mba mentioned. He said there's deliberate misinformation aimed at delegitimizing government institutions involved in the election. This suggests that some individuals among these politicians are accusing INEC already of planning to rig. And both parties are guilty without evidence. You already say, oh, this one wants to use INEC. That one too will respond.
Some will be talking about fake police.
Yes, that
they've been sewing uniform.
I think even Guinea was mentioned in one of them, that it was said to have been inside the home of the governorship candidate of PDP. And Guinea said on that day he was here in Lagos. He's already thinking of legal action because he has evidence to prove that he was in Lagos on the day. So this is what politicians do, this as a way of trying to balance things, because the other party too will have accused them of trying to rig. So because you are accused of trying to rig by the other party, you too will now respond in kind that, oh, you too, you are planning to use INEC to rig. That way, you are destroying the institution. The fidelity of the exercise. You're already destroyed before the exercise itself. You're already making INEC look like a useless institution before the election.
Something you can't substantiate.
Yes, so that by the time the election comes, people will say, oh, they've already said it that INEC was working with one of the parties to rig. This is what our politicians do. All the parties, they are guilty of this. They are monitoring themselves, but at least, they are monitoring, but at least they should not destroy the institution.
The vibes from Edo particularly has not been so encouraging, and the quality of campaign promises, quality of campaign we've seen so far. I've not seen much of Ondo States, because I don't know how keenly contested the election of Ondo would be, but from what I've seen in Edo, come September 19, they are already laying the foundation for violence.
Yeah, you see, honestly, for me, I take the Inspector General's warning with a pinch of salt. And anytime I hear all our law enforcement agencies or their chief law enforcement officers talking that they have heard that this is going to happen and so on, I either tune off my radio or TV or take my dog for a walk, because we are not sincere. The scenario that Babajide mentioned, which you witnessed, I believe, in Kogi State. What has happened to all those people who molested that governorship candidate, that woman? What has happened to them? Have we heard that they have been charged to court? Have they been sentenced? So they just make noise that we hear that they are ready with guns, they are doing this, they are going to perpetrate violence and all this and all that, as if they are scaring either voters or they want us to believe that they are working. A good law enforcement agent does not make noise. You either nip the violence in the bud, or when it is committed, you bring those who commit it to book. But what do we have? The Kogi incident, which the Inspector General of Police he witnessed. The Inspector General of Police was there, is an eyewitness up to this moment. How many years after? We have not been able to see that the person who perpetrated that violence has been punished. And the woman pinpointed the person who attacked her up to this moment. So what are we talking about? If they are not ready to maintain law and order, I don't know what we have, what they are there for. I mean, for goodness sake, there's no need for. It's like you are made a guard of a house, and you are always telling us that, okay, thieves are planning to come. Thieves are planning to come. What measures are you taking? What measures are you taking? What measures are you putting in place to make sure that you nip this in the bud? We are only always reactive. It is when the violence has been perpetrated, people have been killed, people have been maimed, and then they will now parade some people after some 1 or 2 appearances in court, everything comes back to normal. We wait for another 4 years of election, and the same thing we will hear again. So as far as I'm concerned, the Inspector General of Police, the DSS, and all the security agencies, they should talk less and act more. Let us nip this in the bud. If they want to prove us wrong, the person or the persons who attacked that woman in Kogi should be brought out, and they let them parade him or her that, okay, this is what the court has said.
All right, I have this call from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. Jumo is calling us from Lagos. Hello, Jumo.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, congratulations for I want to use this opportunity to congratulate the Governor of Kogi State that today is a final judgment.
Okay, so what we are looking at here is that can we separate violence from our electoral process?
It's up to our politicians. The politicians must turn a new leaf. They must turn a new leaf, and the Supreme Court must be, and the judiciary must begin to punish election rigging and election violence. If people can't see that election rigging and election violence gets punished by the judiciary, they will continue. How many electoral offenders have we jailed?
To serve as deterrent.
People have been pushing for a special court.
Yes,
because we have so many of them.
INEC, they have their hands full.
Yes, so and it costs money to prosecute. So, but we must do something about electoral violence and electoral offenders. We must begin to jail these people. We must begin to punish them and let them, even the people who sponsor the violence, they too must be punished. The law must punish the person sponsoring the violence, which is those politicians, no matter how big they are. Because a lot of our politicians, all they are interested in, they will keep their own children abroad, but they will be sending children of other people to go out and perpetrate violence. And in the process, some of them die. As we are speaking now, some have died in Edo. The children of the protagonists are not part of the dead. You know? Yes, it's the children of the poor. that have been involved. So the law must punish those promoting the violence, those who give these people money, thugs money to go and cause violence. We can't blame the police alone. If the law, if the politicians choose to behave responsibly, there will be no need for the police to do all that.
And finally, he who fights and loses lives to fight another day. For the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Kogi State, it is time to return to the drawing board. The Supreme Court has upheld the election of Governor Yahaya Bello of the All Progressive Congress, APC, as the governor of the state. The Apex Court, led by Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, dismissed the appeal filed by the PDP for lacking in merits. That of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, also suffered the similar fate. The 7-man panel held that the appellant failed to prove allegations of overvoting and malpractices during the election. And this is the final order. First of all, saying congratulations to Governor Yahaya Bello, the governor of Kogi State. And this is like the last bus stop for anybody that wants to seek legal redress. Yinka.
I must say that it's congratulations to Governor Yahaya Bello. And the congratulations should have been extended to Babajide, but he has voluntarily and personally suspended his indigenship of Kogi State for now.
Yes.
So now, the job has just started. Honestly, Yahaya Bello must now put his hand on the plow. This is the last chance he has to prove his mettle. The last 4 years or 5 years has been up and down, going this and that. This is the time for him to put his hands on the plow and make sure he becomes a record governor. The merit of the appeal has been dismissed. He is now the governor. He should now, as a statesman or a gentleman, call on the opposition and say, let us come together and work. The business is the business of making Kogi better. No more politicking for the next 3 years or thereabout. He should work and make Kogites, I think that's what they are called, it should make them happy. And let everyone be happy that, yes, this man, although we fought him, but he has done his best, and the best is good for the state. So, politics aside, the young man should concentrate on his job and forget every other politicking. He should travel less to Abuja now. He should face the issue of security and face his job in Kogi State.
Vicky, whatever your reservations are, the Supreme Court has spoken today.
Yes. I have nothing to say. The appeal court said that the evidence brought by the PDP were invalid because they relied solely or largely on the forensic examination that was carried out. And once the appeal court dismissed the forensic report on the grounds that the forensic expert was not a dactylographer, then there's no way. The Supreme Court merely adopted the position of the appeal court. So whatever evidence you brought, one of the evidence that they brought was that only 5 persons thumbprinted the entire bylaws for Adavi local government, which means that there was a lot of massive multiple thumbprinting that went on. But since the appeal court ruled that the person who carried out the forensic evidence was not qualified to carry it out, you know, the law is the law. So that is what the Supreme Court adopted at the end of the day, rendering the case of the PDP prostrate. But What we can tell the governor, as my brother said, is do your work, face your work. And I'll tell him the way I spoke to him as a brother the other day. Why, yes, Messi, Mukorao.
Meaning?
Wara Chiboran, Mukorao. You have won. Do your work. That is the thing.
That's
In Ebira. That's his language that I'm speaking to him.
Governor Yahaya Bello's
Yes. I have nothing against the governor. I want him to succeed. I want to see him perform excellently. That's why I'm saying Mukorao. Mukorao means work in Ebira language. This is the time to work.
Okay, I have the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kogi State, Mohammed Onogu, with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Ayo.
Congratulations.
And good evening to my brother there, Babajide Otitoju.
Yes, what's your reaction to the verdict of the Supreme Court?
And what can we expect going forward?
First of all, we give thanks to Almighty God for seeing us to this day. And again, to, the decision of the Appellate Court to, holding the victory of His Excellency Yahaya Bello in the last election is simply an affirmation of the identical position on the matter taken by the elder jury at the tribunal and even at the Court of Appeal. So this is a win-win situation for every, sound and good mind citizen of Kogi State. That the electoral litigations that have, constituted as a clog in the wheel of governance in Kogi State has been finally put to rest. So henceforth, the governor is settled, to bring up his policies and programs that will, consolidate on them to transform the state by, improving the well-being of the people, as he has been doing. So he is going to be kind of having another three years to manage the affairs of the state, just like he has been doing. In the past, we have enjoyed the support of the people of Kogi State. And as you can see, even throughout these electoral litigation processes, the people stood by the governor and to ensure that victory comes to them at the end of the day. And today they have the victory. So the governor is now going to settle down properly to ensure that the promises we made during the electioneering campaign, seeking for the votes of the people, we should be thinking of, how to redeem the profit, the promise, and maximize all available resources to ensure that the success we've recorded in security, in education, in infrastructure is sustained and move to an enviable position that every citizen of the state will be proud of. So this is gone. And we thank the judges of the Court of Appeal, of the Election Tribunal, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court for standing by the people, reaffirming and validating the mandate of the people given to the governor in 2019 on November 19. So we are going to work to ensure that those promises we made will be fulfilled in the next 3 years.
Will the governor be reaching out to the people that went to the Supreme Court with him, as in against him? The People's Democratic Party, the SDP, Madam Akpoti.
From the beginning, let me just say that in affirmative here. From the beginning, the governor of Kogi State, His Excellency Yahaya Bello, has an open-door policy. His doors are open to everybody. In the 2015 election, when he came on board, there were lots of crises, and he has been able to manage them. And even after the last election, on November 19, he went out through his chief of staff to meet every stakeholders of the state to come together, let us put our hands together and move the state forward. He has said this morning that the people that went to court, they are not his enemies. The contestants, both the PDP candidates, the SDP, and all other political parties that participated in that election were not his enemies. They felt that there was something they need to question, and they approached the court for proper interpretation. And based on the facts and evidence before the court now, took the side of the people by affirming this election. He has reached out to the people, and he has said that they should come on board and let us work together.
Thank you, my brother.
Mr. Mohammed Onogu, congratulations. That's the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kogi State. Yes. So, finally, we can move forward, and we expect the Governor to reach out to those his opponents.
We want his second term to be better than his first term. That's all we want. Whether I remain with Ekiti State or I go back to the state of my birth, doesn't matter. Let the person who is the governor work for the people. That's what we want to see. So occasionally when we go, we will see the work that he has done. That's all we want. That's why I told him in the language that was put in his mouth as the son of Agaza in Okene local government, Mukorao. Do your work.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your inputs. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you. I'm sure you're still smiling at BQ's Ibira language and the measure himself.
Thank you.
And that's one very funny thing about Kogi State.
Yes.
You have the Galas, you have the Ibira, and you have the Okun people. So very funny.
It's a mini Nigeria.
Yes, very funny.
Mini Nigeria.
The maestro himself, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Zugbaku, urging you to stay safe and see you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.